welcome everyone to this year's first SSH Network webinar. So before moving on, and Paulina Karim will introduce our guest today. But first, it's nice to just remind ourselves what SSH Network is. And it was established by IPBES back in 2020 and is currently led by Paulina Karim, Håkon Stokland, and myself, Thomas Sutcliffe. So it's an open network for anyone interested in the role of social sciences and humanities in IPBES. And so we have some objectives as well, enhancing contributions of the social sciences and humanities in IPBES, and engaging a broader spectrum of those perspectives and approaches in IPBES. We also want to attract more SSH expert nominations for IPBES assessments and facilitating other engagements with IPBES and SSH scholars. And also improving the integration of SSH knowledge and scholars engaging IPBES. So yeah, integrating perspectives and knowledge about structured processes and outputs of IPBES work. So before introducing the guests, it's nice to have some housekeeping rules. So obviously, mute your microphone when not speaking. Please do not use the chat function during the presentation. Please use the raised hand button when we wish to speak during the discussion part. And the webinar is currently being recorded, but the discussion will not be recorded. And it will be published on the SSH Network webpage afterwards. And then enjoy the webinar, and I give the word to Paulina Karim.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, Thomas, and a very good evening, almost good night from Taiwan. And it's our great pleasure for this very first webinar of the season to welcome Professor Kuang-Chung Lee from National Dong Hwa University, Taiwan. For almost 25 years now, Professor Lee has been working on conservation of living landscapes and facilitation of multi-stakeholder partnerships between local communities and government agencies. Also, Professor has worked on numerous government projects with the Forestry and Nature Conservation Agency and Ministry of Agriculture. He was also the first one to introduce the concept of the Satoyama Initiative and its partnership networks to Taiwan. Today, Professor Lee is the leader of the Scapes Lab, which is a living lab working on landscape conservation and community participation. And he's also a lead author of the Nexus assessment with IPBES. I must also say that I'm very proud that Professor Lee is my teacher with a capital T. He was my former PhD research advisor and is now my very respected colleague. So with this very long introduction, Professor, we welcome you. And we know that you'll be talking to us today on a very amazing subject. We called it 1, 2, 3 action, how to facilitate science policy engagements that work and last. And because Professor can talk for hours, this is his thing. So we decided just to focus a little bit and to provide 3 questions for Professor to structure his presentation. So we have asked Professor to talk about his journey towards action research, if it was a conscious choice, a unique experience, or just some kind of magical thing that happened. Then the second question will be about definition of action research in Professor's work, about ongoing projects and some success stories. And we have also asked Professor to talk to us how to best leverage the potential of participatory action research to ensure lasting and effective science policy partnerships, and also some challenges that we should be mindful of. So without further ado, I would like to give the floor to Professor Kuang-Chung Lee, and just for all of us to sit back and enjoy his wonderful presentation. Professor, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Paulina, for your wonderful introduction. And many thanks also to Håkon and Thomas for your invitation. And hello, everyone. And thank you for your coming. This is my pleasure, great pleasure to be here to share with you this interesting and important topic, and allow me to upload my PowerPoint. Thank you, Paulina, for preparing 3 questions. They are very interesting and important. So I will follow these 3 questions one by one to share some of the idea and experience from Taiwan. So about the first one, my journey towards action research. The motivation is actually from my early career. After graduation from the university, the geography department, I had 5 years working experience as a civil servant, 5 years in the Council of Agriculture, the forestry department, and my main job was about planning management of the protected areas in Taiwan, including nature reserve and wildlife refuges. Another 1 year in the Taroko National Park. The main duty was about periodical review of the National Park Master Plan. And then I got a chance to study abroad in London for 4 years. And at that time, my interest was about protected area from my working experience. But I also noticed the community participation could be very important for Taiwan in the future. So my PhD research was about collaborative planning and management of protected areas. And then I was introduce you what I learned from my PhD case study, and started my action research from this case study. So from this map, you can see there's a Sheba National Park established in 1992. And the yellow color in the Sheba National Park, the area is Wulin Veteran Farm, established 30 years earlier than the national park. And from the national park logo on the left-hand side, you can see the main task was to protect the Formosan landlocked salmon, a very endangered species, only can be found in this national park. Then you can imagine there were many serious conflict between the farm authority, local farmers, and the park authority about the endangered species conservation and the agriculture production, local livelihoods. As a result, a wildlife refuge for the salmon designated in later years to involve the central government institution, the Council of Agriculture, where I work, and I was the key person, key staff for the planning, and also involve the local county government for the planning of the wildlife refuge. And this is the picture for the Wulin Farm. You can see agriculture production, many farmers' villages along the Chijiawan stream, where the only salmon habitat can be found there. And before I went into the field, I conducted this stakeholder analysis according to their importance and influence. So the stakeholders can be categorized into 4 groups. Group 1, high importance, but little, low influence. This group stakeholder need to be empowered to join the group 2. And group 3, low importance, but high influence. need to be carefully informed and monitored. And the stakeholder in group 2 need to work closely. And this is the result of the analysis for the initial year of the Salmon Wildlife Refuge. You can see group 2, there are mainly governmental institutions, officers, including COA, Council of Agriculture, I was there, and also academics, some expert scientists. They gave many suggestions, advices. But for the group 1, the farmer, local farmer, although they were landowner, but they were still absent from the decision-making process. So for my PhD research in the field, the main job was to explore the opinions from the local farmers and the local institution officers. So I employ these quantitative data collection method, such as document analysis, participant observation, interviewing, and then I plan to conduct group discussion, many focus group discussion for local people, one group, governmental officers, another group separately, to explore their opinion and then do analysis. And then I can give some suggestion from the finding. When I invite local people to this kind of focus group meeting, local people say no. They said, we met with each other every day, discuss these issues, problems for many, many years. Why bother to have this kind of local people focus group meeting? And they say, of course we can help you because you need to finish your PhD research. We can help you. And I remember I was shocked for a few seconds and didn't know what to do. But then I thought maybe this was not a good idea to have a focus group meeting. Why not to have a multi-stakeholder group meeting? Invite authority, especially from the park, to come here, meet with the local people. So I say, is this a good idea? Local people say, of course, this is a good idea because the park people, they never come here to talk with us. They just hold official meetings, discuss with the farm institution, not us. But can you hold this kind of meeting? I say I will try. So later, in one evening, July 1999, I convened and conduct a multi-stakeholder group meeting in their village. So this is the picture of the meeting. You can see the director of the Shiba National Park and the representative officers from the local county government and from the farm institution, and the many local people sitting around. And I was the chair. And this is the analytical diagram for the meeting. You can see people discuss about the knowledge issues, livelihoods, about their problems and strategies, livelihoods, salmon conservation, and also how to work closer in the future, and so on. One important question for today's topic is about why the director of the national park came here. The reason is I provide him what I found from the field work about local people, their problems, opinions, and complaints. So the director thought they need to come here to talk to local people directly, face to face. And more detail can be found in these papers. And lesson learned from the case study 1. Multi-stakeholder group meeting can be a powerful tool for stakeholder communication and action research. However, the effectiveness can be limited if it is just a one-off meeting. Therefore, a consistent and prolonged engagement is required. But for my PhD research, I conduct only once. But I realized there should be more kind of series of workshops. Then people can talk about their problems, and then maybe the strategies, and then maybe the action research, action plans, and with the help of the park authority and so on. So later I realized this kind of participatory action research has a high potential for enhancing synergies and balancing trade-offs between conservation and development objects on the ground, especially from the experience of my later research project. So action research cycles look like this one. So case study 1, only one cycle, not enough. So let's move to the question 2. So what's the role of action research in fostering science policy interaction? Some success stories. Let me share with you one definition I favorite about the action research. So it can be understood as a collaborative production of scientifically and socially relevant knowledge, transformative action, and new social relations through a participatory process. And I think this definition can be well demonstrated in light of the theory of collaborative planning. So with the help of action research, the new institutional capacity can be built up through increase of knowledge resources, relational resources, and mobilization capacity. I will use the case study 2 to explain to you. After I got my PhD, I got a job in Hualien, east part of Taiwan, working for the National Hualien University of Education, and then combine the university combined into the National Dong Hwa University since 2008 till now. And I have a lab. I named the lab as Landscape Conservation and Community Participation, the SCAPE lab. The reason is that Hualien is a nature and the rural area. So my interest and the research focus is not only about protected area, but more about the rural area revitalization. And I found the following international instruments are very helpful, including IUCN Protected Landscape, UNESCO World Heritage Cultural Landscape, FAO GIAS, CBD Satoyama Initiative, UNESCO Geopark, and the ECOMOS Rural Landscape. And for the past 25 years, I conduct many research projects. Many are about particular area, different categories, and more about rural area revitalizations. And I will use Chihala'ai Cultural Landscape and Turtle River Aspiring Geopark, all in the Fengnan Village, as the case study 2 to explain to you. And these are the general action research questions in landscape seascape context. 3 levels and 4 questions. in terms of think global, adopt national, and act local. So for the think global to adopt national, the question is about how to tailor relevant international concept of landscape seascape approaches into national planning system, like a national park protected area system or rural areas. Second, adopt national to act local. Question includes how to put community-based collaborative approaches into practice in local context, how to ensure effect, meaningful and lasting multi-stakeholder engagement, and foster a dialogue between local communities and government agencies. For local, act local to adopt national, to think global is scaling up, how to scale local experience up, out, and deep to national and global levels. These are important action research questions in my mind and for our lab members. And I will use some diagrams. I found they are useful. First is this one, step of a multi-stakeholder participation from preparation, discussion, consensus building, action planning, and implementation maintenance, and very concrete steps useful for stakeholder understanding. But there's no top one and the stop ladder. The process is like a spiral, yeah, from planning, action, evaluation, this kind of spiral. And this diagram is useful for action research. You can see 2 cycles, and you can see the researcher's rule in the cycles. So for the first cycle, from status review to evaluation, the scientist, researcher can play roles of observer to help issue identification relating to the policy, such as ecotourism development, nature, cultural heritage preservation, conservation, environmental education, and so on. And also help to do the stakeholder analysis, including IPOC officers, scientists, NGO, and so on. And for the second cycle, the researchers can help conduct new forums from planning, implementation to evaluation. So the role can be kind of a facilitator. Yeah. And about the research, we need a kind of data collection method. For my lab, mainly qualitative. So as I mentioned, document analysis, participant observation, interviewing, and group discussion, both focus group or multi-stakeholder holder groups can be useful depending on the context. And it can be held in the mode of workshop or by the end of workshop. Local people welcome the name of workshop because it means people will come to work with us. Yeah, so we use workshop very frequently. And case study 2 have been published, paper written by me and Paulina. So the title is From Cultural Landscape to Aspiring Geopark, 15 years of experience. So let me move quickly. Yeah, for 15 years, very long time. So the case study area located in eastern Taiwan in coastal mountain range. The yellow boundary you can see is the boundary of the Fengnan village, and also the Turtle River watershed, and also the indigenous Chihalai tribe, and also the Turtle River aspiring geoparks. And the green dashed line is the area of Chihalai cultural landscape, and the orange dots are Fengnan village settlement and local primary schools. and there are about 60% indigenous Amis living there. And these are the key international instruments applied into this case study over time. And there are 3 phases. Phase 1 is about community-based ecotourism development. Phase 2, cultural landscape designation and management. Phase 3, Turtle River Aspiring Geopark. So for the first, phase 1, you can see from the diagram, with the help of the university, my research team, local people, local authority, they provide financial resources and project resources to help local community working with the local school on investigation of the landscape resources, as well as the community-based tourism and place-based education activities. And these are the picture about the meeting in the primary school. Many meetings held indoor, and also many outdoor activities for young kids guided by their teacher to exploit the local resources and planning for the environmental education activities. And they together figure out this community landscape resources map this time, and conduct the first time outdoor education activities guided by local people and local school teacher. And phase 2, Chihalai cultural landscape. So phase 1 is more about tourism development, community-based tourism development. But landscape, especially the agriculture production landscapes, is more about their livelihoods. So the phase 2 is about how to employ cultural landscape as an instrument to enhance their livelihoods. So the goal and task is about the planning, designation, and management for an indigenous rice paddy cultural landscape, and also following by and weekend community-based environmental education courses for local indigenous young kids. And remember we mentioned about the collaborative planning theory. The mobilization capacity, the instrument is very important, including the legal instrument. So in 2005, the cultural preservation law in Taiwan was amended, and there was a new item about cultural landscape, provide opportunity for us to explore this issue. And after talking with the local people through a series of workshops, local people decided to set up a local management committee by themselves for the future cultural landscape. And you can see my university is a facilitator, and the cultural affairs authorities. These 3 key stakeholders join and set up a partnership platform and invite more other stakeholders to participate in the planning and management process. And this is the boundary designated as a cultural landscape in 2012, including the nature forest, secondary forest, many rice paddies, irrigation channels, and their villages. This kind of living and integrated landscape. And so this is the first time a new type of living cultural landscape in Taiwan. And after the designation, local people, they started to work on eco-farming rice and also their new brand, and they appreciate cultural landscape this term, this concept, and providing tourists, visitors, eco-green tourism, and also conduct local youth environmental program for their young kids. So after 2 summer camp in 2012, about Back to the Future and Wisdom of the Elder, and with the help of the my university, the lab, we discussed this question with local people about why, when, where, what, who, and how to conduct a weekend education courses. And local people decided to have a clear idea and decided to conduct these courses. The focus include agricultural livelihoods, culture and community, nature conservation, and combined curriculum. And this diagram shows university, the facilitator, and the local regional governmental institution, Forest Bureau. They provide project financial resources to help local teacher to teach their young local youth. And the graduate also came back to help, and also got support from parents, residents, and this kind of interaction during the 5 years activities. But let's move to the phase 3. Phase 3 is about a geopark. Again, legal instrument amendment provides new opportunity in 2016. So geopark become a new legal item. And we found the cultural landscape cannot be expanded to larger area, because of some constraint. We can talk about this later. But geopark, because it is mainly about the tourism, so there's more opportunity to be set up in the local area, and local people also welcome tourism development. So this geopark, the area can be the whole villages. So we decided to talk to and work with the local people about a aspiring geopark for the whole village. So in 2018, we conduct a series of 5 indoor and outdoor workshops on community issues and need, and use employee ecosystem services as a framework to inventory local resources, and select 5, then combine into 3 key geotourism implementation area. And next year, we conduct a series of 4 outdoor workshops on geotourism tour planning with local people. We go outside and decided together on which sites we can do the interpretation, and then conduct 2 interpretation exercises guided by local people. And then local people welcome geopark, this kind of concept. And with our suggestion, they decided to set up a multi-stakeholder platform for geotourism development and geopark planning. So the platform was set up in 2020, comprised of 10 local organizations, and involve more later. So this process and activities were all supported by the regional governmental institution, the Forest Bureau. And this diagram shows during these 15 years, so there were mainly 3 groups of stakeholders: primary, local community, and secondary stakeholder, mainly the local regional authority. And then we need a bridging stakeholders, scientists. We can play the role of facilitator, my university. So through this cooperation among the stakeholders, local people can year by year eventually to know, cherish, and show their local landscape resources in terms of social, cultural, economic, biodiversity, geodiversity resources. So lesson learned from the case study too. In terms of think global, we think combination of various international concepts can be, we found, can be welcomed by local community, such as living cultural landscape, social ecological production landscape, seascape, the Satoyama concept, and geopark, more about community-based tourism. In terms of adapt national, we found we need to employ a proper legal policy instrument, both from nature and cultural conservation law, not only nature conservation law, sometimes culture preservation law also useful. And then working with multiple stakeholders are very important, actively engaging local community and governmental officer at the subnational and municipal levels. Act local. The process is kind of iterative action research cycle. So the process is also about social learning and knowledge weaving. And the process is also kind of adaptive co-management process. So involving participatory planning, implementation, monitoring and evaluation, adjustment. So in this whole process, the bridging stakeholder can give suggestion at the right time. And the role is very important. Okay, let's move to the last question about the opportunities and challenges for this kind of participatory action research. Let me use only one slide to show the opportunity and challenges we learned from this case study. So remember the action research definition about the knowledge, action, and relation. So it is theory of cooperative planning. It's very useful. You can see the knowledge is resources, the opportunities is about how we can enhance dialogue and weaving between the expert knowledge and local knowledge. So expert, mainly government officer, scientists, local knowledge, IPLC. So this is also the challenge. Relational resources, stakeholder analysis, this kind of framework can be useful. And get to know the role, proper role to play or to transform. So working partnership is very important, trust, leadership. And here we can play the role of observer or facilitator. Mobilization capacity. This is about the legal policy instrument, about governmental institutions, projects, financial support, to help stakeholder to explore useful international instrument, think global, and to utilize proper legal policy instrument, adopt national, and then got resources to act and together move forward. So these are all opportunities, but also challenges. Okay, thank you very much for your attention.
Professor, thank you so much for your wonderful presentation. So today was our very first webinar in the April-June series of this year, and it was really exciting, a great opening. We also have 2 more webinars upcoming this May and June, so please write it down in your calendars. Our next one is on May 23rd. We will be hosting Harriet Bulkley from Durham University and Utrecht University, and also June 12th, we will be hosting Karen Gustafsson from Örebro University in Sweden. So again, very exciting speakers coming up. And if you would like to learn more about SSH Network or even sign up, if you have not signed up yet, please visit our website for more information. And you may also scan the QR code that you see on the screen. And with this, Professor, we thank you once again for your time, for all the preparation, all the work you've put into this presentation. We learned so much. And thank you all dear participants for joining us today. And we hope to see you next on May 23rd. Thank you so much. Many thanks to my co-host, Thomas and Håkan. It's been amazing working with you.